Hello everyone and welcome to the One Stop Co-op Shop. This is Colin and today we're going to start a playthrough of Vanguard of War, which is published by Archon Studio. Now, full disclosure, Archon Studio did send this to me. It is the full version, Kickstarter version with all the bells and whistles. I'm going to be playing with 2 heroes from the base and 2 heroes from the Kickstarter, just so you guys can see a little bit of the differences. And I'm playing with some of the Kickstarter exclusives like these spawn points, just to kind of show you guys what the board will look like. However, if you still get just the base game, you're still going to get this board itself, some pretty sweet looking minis, tons of dice, and lots of fun. In this video, we're going to set up the game and then start the first round, and then from there we'll move forward to the playthrough. Hope you guys are excited. Let's get going. The first thing that you want to do is pick out the heroes you're going to play with. In a solo game up to a 4-player game, you're going to need to play with 4 heroes. I'm going to play a solo game today, so we're going to pick out 4 heroes. Let's start with Sir Jankovic. What we see here is Sir Jankovic starts at 5 health. He has 2 action points during his turn. His movement speed is 4. He has the Molten Justice, served with Extreme Prejudice, as his basic weapon. He has a special ability that says if Sir Jankovic takes damage, inflict 1 damage on the attacking wave, which is sweet. On this side, we have 2 places to hold consumable items. Each character will start with a specific consumable item, and he has a Restoration Stone, which allows us to heal 1 character to full health. Then we all have 3 special skills, and I'll go through those as we do the playthrough. Now, something to note, when you're setting this up, there are 2 sides to both of these boards. And you can see right here, there's this little symbol. That is the upgraded version of the skills and the upgraded version of the hero stat card. You can do that during the game. You can upgrade them for 7 Essence and 1 Ascension. But to start with, you got to make sure you start on the non-upgraded side. Our second hero will be Lieutenant Zik Crick. Zik Crick will have a total of 4 health, 3 actions per round, which is pretty nice. Also 4 movement, has a blade worthy of Royal Guard, so has a range of 1, rolls 3 dice, hits on a 3+, and he can ignore the effects of exploration cards and discard it, which is a really nice ability, and you'll see that during the playthrough. Over here, we can see his consumable is throwing daggers, which is perfect. Doesn't he look awesome? Yeah, and then 3 skills as well. Next, we have Captain Macaria, and Captain Macaria is also from the Kickstarter. I thought she looked pretty sweet, so I thought, well, let's play with her. She only has 2 action points around and has movement of 3. She has her basic attack of Hellfire and Brimstone at the pull of a trigger. So pretty sweet looking gun. She has an Ion Grenade for her consumable, and these are her skills. And last but not least, my favorite character, because you all know I love being the tank character, and Lord Vesserit is definitely that. Movement 3, AP of 3, he has an awesome looking hammer. The Lord's Might is a masterpiece of techno sorcery, but I love his ability, may not receive more than 2 damage from an attack. So no matter how much damage he takes, boom, only takes 2 hits. And he's got 7 health, so he can really soak that up. He also has a Bloody Ether, which heals a hero for 3 HP. And then he's got a Hammer Toss, Heavy Blow, and of course, he can taunt. Love it. And we do have a taunt token here, so I'll place this here just to remind ourselves we can place that when we do our taunt action. We'll place each of our heroes here in the center of the board. This is the church. So the whole goal of the game is this is a tower defense game. We're trying to defend this church from an onslaught of demons. These demons are going to come out in 8 rounds charging towards this church, and if the church ever takes 10 points of damage, we lose the game. However, if we can defeat the Overlord, either from Tier 1, Tier 2, or Tier 3, depending on how many tiers we're going to play, then we win the game. Once again, this miniature right here is from the Kickstarter, so you won't have that if you just get the base game. As you can imagine, any type of tower defense game, your uses of actions is very limited, and so you need to use them the best that you can. One of the things you can do in this game, though, is try and explore, essentially dig or sift around the sand on the board and try and find different things. So these are exploration tokens, and when we go and do that exploration action, which takes one 1 AP, one of our actions, we can flip these and we can find maybe one-time events like this one. Hey, we get an Ascension token, which can help us level up. We can maybe get something that we could use as an item, or we could have a bad event. So there's tons of these, as you can see. So what you'll want to do is take them all, shuffle them up, and then as you're playing, when you decide to do an exploration action, you'll draw from this stack. Next, you'll want to set up the abominations that you're going to play with for the game. I'm going to play with the 3 basic abominations, the Succubus, the Fellstrafer, and the Harvester. So what you see here, up in the top left corner, this tells you which card you should use depending on what tier we're in. So we're starting in tier 1 since it's the beginning of the game. So there's 1 skull, but there's going to be cards that have a 2 skull and a 3 skull, and then their stats are different, which is cool. I like how the game levels up as you level up as your specific heroes. Up here, it tells you how much armor they have. So this Succubus, you only need to do 1 point of damage and you take her out. But this Fellstar has 1 armor, so you have to do a total of 2 points of damage. 1 to get past the armor and 1 to take them out. And then the Harvesters, 3. So you have to get 3 hits on them in one go to be able to take them out. Down here, this tells us their speed. Remember, their whole goal is to take out the church. They're going to ignore us and run forward to the church, and then, only then, after moving, if they're not in range of the church, they're going to attack us. So they're really going to look for going to the church first. So you can see the Succubus is going to be fast, 3 spaces around, versus the Fellstrafer and Harvester are only 2. Finally, down here, it shows their types of attacks. So this lets you know range. And range in this game is very, very simple. You're just going to count spaces, and you can't count diagonally. So you're going to count orthogonally. This means essentially Succubus has a ranged attack of 2. She'll roll 2 dice, and she does damage at a 3+. The Fellstrafer has a range of 2, rolls 3 dice, but hits at a 4+. So not as likely that you're going to get hit, but more chances with the dice that you're rolling. And then the Harvester here is a range 1, only rolls 2 dice and hits at a 4+. So these cards will sit face out for the entire duration of the game, or this tier, to help us remember what the specific stats are for abominations. Whenever we defeat one of these, we gain an essence token. Those are very important because they're going to allow us to either level up our hero, or if one of our heroes dies, which by the way is likely, we can bring them back by running to the church and giving up an essence to bring them back. So now that we have our abomination stats, we now have to set up our abomination deck. This is going to consist of 21 cards of all the different types of abominations. So we've got our Fellstrafer, Succubus, and Harvester. These cards, we're going to draw 3 a round. So we're going to have a total of 8 rounds. 7 rounds, we're going to be drawing 3 of these abominations. And then the final round, the 8th round, we're going to draw our Overlord, which we'll get to in a second. So hopefully we get there in the playthrough too. So what we do, when we flip this card over, this lets us know which of the lanes that enemy or abomination is going to spawn from. So this would be lane 2. Then we're going to roll 2 d6s. Depending on what we roll, they might have some minions that are with them, and these are denoting the different types of minions. We'll see those as we go through the playthrough. There are 3 different types of minions. After that, we'll place all of those on the board, and we'll draw another card. So we'll draw a total of 3 cards around, spawning in at least 3 different rows each round. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take the remaining, 18 cards here, take these ones, shuffle them up, and get this deck ready. Now, at the bottom of the deck, we're going to place our Overlord. And here we have our Taskmaster. And just look at this mini. How awesome. I mean, if you're into painting at all, you're going to have loads of fun painting these minis. They look fantastic. Okay, same thing, just like before, you're going to look for the Tier 1 Overlord because we're in Tier 1. After that, if you're doing more than one tier, you'll grab the Tier 2 and Tier 3. Now, in the base game, it comes with 1 Overlord. But if you get the Kickstarter or any of the expansions, you're going to get more and more Overlords, as well as more minion cards, and you can mix and match and create tons of different unique plays. Once again, this is going to tell us armor. This one is going to have health. So unlike the abominations where they all only have 1 health, the Overlord is going to have more than 1 hit point. So you'll have to track those with some of these damage tokens, which you'll also use on your own heroes. Hopefully not too much. And then we see here 1 armor, 3 for the speed. This is how he attacks. Wow, he hits on a 2+. It's like almost guaranteed to hit you. So what we'll do is we'll grab this Abomination deck and just place it on top of that card. This is how we'll keep track of which round we're in, because once this deck is depleted, we're in round 8, and that Taskmaster comes out. There are also 2 different event decks in this game. Now in Tier 1, you ignore the event cards, so we're not going to use them. But if you play Tier 2 or Tier 3, you're going to flip these over during specific rounds, and some will give you benefits, and some will give you detriments, right? Let's see. All wave attacks have +1 dice. Ow. Heroes ignore 1 armor when attacking. Yay! So you'll flip these over based on what tier you're in, and they change up the gameplay as well. Finally, we do have all of our tokens and our D6s. Everything is determined through D6 dice rolling, and we have different types of tokens, damage tokens, ascension tokens, and essence tokens. As well as if you do an exploration and you try and dig around on the earth to find something, you have to place this token on the board, and you can't do an exploration in that same spot for the rest of that round. And I should say for the rest of the tier, not just the round. So that's why you need to make sure to note where you have done your explorations, because during that tier, you have 8 rounds. You may end up trying to do an exploration in the same location, and you can't do that. So that's what these are going to be used for. If you're playing with the non-Kickstarter version, all you have to do is open up the board and you're ready to play. Throw your 4 heroes right in the church, get them ready to defend, and you're good to go. If you're going to play with a little extra just to make it look a little more 3D-ish and cool, because I kind of like these spawn miniatures, it actually makes me think of Fireteam Zero. They also have those, and I like them a lot. Set those up on the different lanes. You can see the lanes here. These are where the enemies are going to be running towards the church, and this is going to be the area where our heroes are going to be going around trying to stop them, doing exploration, attacking, and stuff like that. I don't want to forget, you also need to set up all the other miniatures. You can leave them in the box if you want, but I find it easier to pull them out as you're playing. There are, like I said, 3 different types of abominations and 3 different types of minions. So there's a lot of different types of miniatures here. And then if you have all the additional Kickstarter or expansions, you have tons more that I haven't even put out on the table. But these are your enemies, and I really like how they're a different color from the heroes. So it's really easy to tell, okay, that's an enemy and this is a hero. The only one that's the same color as the hero is the Overlord, which I don't really know why this guy isn't red, but that's okay. So let's start round 1, and then once we get to the hero activations, we'll stop, and I'll let you guys put in the comments what you guys think we should do, okay? So to start with the round, we're going to do our 3 spawnings. So we'll draw our first card, and we have a Harvester. The Harvester is going to come out in lane 4. Now we have to roll 2d6s to see if any minions are going to come with. Let's give our 2 dice a roll. We have a 4 and a 1. Wow, that is amazingly lucky. The 4, you can see there's nothing here. That means no spawn of any minion. And then here a 1, no spawn of a minion. Great, so we just have a Harvester in lane 4. We'll place him right here. And he looks like he's harvesting a heart. It's like he almost has a heart in his hand and he's squishing it. I'm gonna kill you. So we'll have him face this way as he's gonna start moving across the lane, trying to run or slowly walk, because he is a harvester and kind of big, towards the church. All right, let's spawn our second one. Our second abomination will be another harvester. Ugh. Let's see if we get any minions here. We'll roll 2d6s. We rolled a 4 and a 2. So yes, this one is gonna have 2 minions with him. For the 4 here, we can see this looks kind of like a face. That stands for a brute minion. A brute minion has only 1 hit point, but it also has an armor. And you always have to attack the minions first before you can attack the abomination. So we're going to have to take out this minion and this brute first before we can take out the harvester. But then we also have this 2 over here, and that is an artillery unit. Artillery minions provide an additional dive support of damage to the abomination when he attacks. So normally the harvester only rolls, I think it's 2 dice. This one will roll 3 dice until we get rid of that artillery unit. And of course, this will all spawn in lane 2. So we have placed our harvester here, we have our artillery minion, and our brute right here. All three will be on the same space. They'll all move together, and like I said, you have to take out the minions first. The brute, you have to take out the brute first, then we can take out the artillery unit, and then we can go for the harvester. Our third and final abomination. And we have a fell strafer. Okay, this is a good example. So you see how this is lane 2? You can't have 2 spawns in the same lane. So then you just move clockwise to determine where the next spawn should be. So since this is 2, we will actually place this spawn in spawning place or spawning location 3. Is he going to bring any minions? Come on, no. A 4 and a 6. A 4, yes. A 6, no. So he's going to have a brute with him, but that's it. We've placed our minion, the brute, and our fell strafer abomination right here. After spawning, now we move to the onslaught. So the first thing that's going to happen is each of the abominations with their minions are going to move their movement speed and then try and attack. You always start at spawning location 1 and then go across the board. And then you always move the ones closer to the church first. So we don't have any at 1, so we'll move the ones at 2. And these guys will just move 2 spaces towards the church. Then there's nobody within range, so they won't attack. The fell strafer over here also only moves 2. 1, 2. And there's no one for him to attack. He attacks at a range of 2, and there's no one within a range of 2. Don't forget, though, they always aim for the church first. Finally, we have our lone harvester over here. He'll simply just take 2 steps forward. Now, I think I'm going to call this video here because the next step is we get to activate our heroes. But here's the thing. We get to activate them in any order, and how they're going to activate is they get to move their movement speed first. They don't have to do their entire movement speed, but they can move up to their total movement. Then after that, they get to spend their action points. We've got 2 that have 3 AP and 2 of them that have 2 AP. After that, we end the round, we draw 3 new abomination cards, and we move all of the abominations forward and attack again. I have to say, for this game, it holds a dear spot in my heart right now because my 4-year-old son and I have played this now together 3 times, and he loves it. Just loves it. And that's what I'd say about this game, is that if you're looking for highly tactical, it's probably not what you're going to be looking for. But if you're looking for a fun game that can really work with all ages, and it's just a load of fun to play, there are some hard decisions to make. What do I want to do? Do I want to attack? Which abilities do I want to use? But you can also just have a lot of fun with even a 4-year-old. And then taking out demons with your 4-year-old, yeah, that's pretty precious. So, hope you guys are excited. Let me know what you think we should do, and let's take out some demons. I'll see you at the next stop.